Welcome back to the shop and the channel. The little blurby you saw at the beginning of the video was basically the cutter cutting the holes in the new spoil board, 2 inches on center. There's 99 of them, something like that. So 2 inches on center. I've done it, demonstrated in several videos on how I set up the machine to do the cutting. I demonstrated how I do drawings in my computer and how I export them into G-Sender to convert it to G-code. So the G-code goes bloop to the machine. The machine does what I want it to do. So the next step is we're going to take this off of the old spoil board, and I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to chamfer each hole so that the inserts that I showed you earlier, which are somewhere around here, the little inserts which I showed you earlier, which have this little shoulder on the top of them, when they sit from the bottom, that shoulder will be below the surface of the MDF, so it won't interfere with this piece of MDF sitting nice and flush with the spoil board thingy down here. So let's take this off. I'll probably do that with on time lapse or high speed or whatever. But let's get this off of here and chamfer those holes. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. I have stop blocks, hard stop blocks here in the back, and I have temporary stop blocks here, so that when I put this back in, it will be indexed with the table correctly, and the X marks the spot in the middle will be in the same place. I'm still going to re-zero everything on that X right here when I do the remaining passes. So this is the first toolpath. The second toolpath is going to be surfacing, and the third toolpath is going to be the grid lines that are 1 inch on center, 1 inch by 1 inch on center grid lines. So back to taking it off now. To clarify that point. And so loosen these up. One in the back is going to be a little difficult, but this is a roundy head. What I've done is I've homed the machine off. This is the machine's home right there, and you hit the home button over here, and it indexes it to that spot every time. So now I can slide this out because I'm using T-nuts underneath. Okay. Oops, I lost one. All right. So it didn't go through all. Oh, it's only paper thin. Usually I cut these things like 20 or 40 thousandths deeper than I need to. Three quarters of an inch. I go 30 to 40 thousand, 20 to 30, 40 thousandths under. I didn't do quite that time, but these bottoms here are paper thin, so I just got to punch those out, then come back into the chamfers. Hi, future Kevin from the editing room. Well, I'm not in the editing room, but with an interruption in your regularly scheduled program. When I stated in the previous segment that I indexed this to the top of this, that was all for naught, because my intention was to remove all this MDF from the table anyway, which involved taking all these aluminum extrusions off, removing the MDF, putting extrusions back on, and re-indexing this piece of MDF to the table where it needed to be, which I did. So that's why suddenly all this disappeared. Back to the regularly scheduled program. Doing this the old-fashioned way on the drill press, that is to do the counterbore for the recessed threaded inserts. Now, what I'm using is a tapered counterbore bit, show you in a second, and I've set a stop, mechanical hard stop on the handle again, so it only goes so far down. The problem is I can get 4 rows here, and I can get 4 rows here. The middle row, I can get 4 here and 4 here. That has me 3 that I have to do by hand, which will be interesting. I can put a stop on that, but let me show you the bit, the drill, the counterbore bit I'm using. This is the bit. It's I forget what the taper is on this, but I think it's 80 degrees. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. It's the right taper I need, and it's just a single flute counterbore bit. The multiple flute ones tend to chatter, in this kind of work. And this has got a tapered surface cutter here, so it definitely does a little better job. And I'm just going to go through and do as many as I can until I have to do these last 3 in the center by hand. Not a noise issue. I just want to play some tunes while I'm doing this, because it's going to be a going to take a little while to do these. Go find my music, click on the button for the P streaming service, because they're not sponsoring. I'm not going to need your name, and put on the kind of music I want. Bada bing. Okay, all done except for these 3 right here, which I need to do by hand. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think I'll put a stop collar around this. Got a 1/2 inch stop collar that will go around this and should work. Let me get that, put it on, and we'll see how that works out. Well, the 1/2 inch stop collar is not going to work, but I did get, so I put some green tape around here, and I'll put a couple more, put another another layer on that. That'll give me a good warning of how far I am in to the spoil board. Don't want to go too far in. There we go. And now I do these 3 by hand off camera, because it's going to take a second. I thought I was going to wimp out on that, huh? So those 3 I did by hand, and they're going to work fine. Now we have to put in 90, I think it's 99 threaded inserts. You don't need to see all that. I put a couple in it, but you know how threaded inserts work, so you don't need to see that. We'll see the end product, put it on here, and we'll do the final 2 tool paths on it. So just to let you know, I got one in here. That's what it looks like. And there's a bit of a rise around the hole because of the bit, that counterbore bit causes it to swell out. I can just sand that down with random orbital to get it smooth again, but that's what it looks like. And of course, the mounting is from this side for whatever clamping system I'm going to use. So let's get the rest of these in. It's all set up to do the surfacing. The surfacing bit is in there, but I indexed, when I put the piece of tape on, put the X in there, indexed it to the center point of the piece of wood. I used a very sharp, pointy bit to index it to the center of the machine, of the board, where I want to make the cuts. This is going to go raster, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're not going to sit here and watch that. It's just going to happen. But it'll reset itself exactly back to this point, so that I can put in the V-bit that will carve the grid. So let me zero out the X and zero out the Y. So that spot right there, this is 0, 0, 0. I've set the height with the probe. I've done that in previous videos. You can watch other people do it on YouTube. So let me start this up and get this surface, and then we'll come back and I'll show the start of the grid. Surfacing is done, and I have no ridges, so everything's right and as it should be. The table, this wonderful spoil board, is nice and flat, and the spindle is perpendicular to it. So, not that I'm doing precision machine work on this thing, it's now very precise. Now I have to switch bits This is index itself back to where it needs to be at where it started with the first job. Change my job in GSender, but I have to switch out the surfacing bit, which I'll show you, with the V-carb bit, the V bit, V-carb bit. Let's come a little closer. This is the surfacing bit. It's a 1-inch, 3-wing carbide cutter. It goes back in the drawer here. And this is the grooving bit, the V bit, that I'm going to be using to do the grid. Let's do the V bit, the V bit, the V bit. So far, I'm really impressed with this spindle system that I've got in here now. You know, I can't hear it from the other room when the system shuts down, but I can hear when the shop vac turns off. So I've got that on automatic. What the heck? Yeah. Oh, that's the problem. This is why I need to get just 2 dedicated wrenches for this thing, because it came with 2 double-ended wrenches with a variety of sizes. Okay. And which I think is going to be a 13 and a 17. All right, that bit is now in place. And I want to set the cutter height. I want to zero it in the vertical axis, basically. And this is how you do it. Probe, push the button, push the button. Now it'll set the height of the cutter precisely to the height of the table, and it'll cut what I want it to cut, what I put into the G code, which I don't rate G code. It does it for me. So now I'm going to find the drawing. Spoil board grid. Open. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, you can't see it on screen, but now this is a grid pattern for the tool path. Put this back in place. It's going to get loud, but so now, again, going to start the grid cut, and then we'll come back when the grid's done. There you have it, a new spoil board. Some details. We'll get a close-up in a second of the grid and everything. But so I still have more than 3/8 of an inch between the surface of the spoil board and the threaded inserts on the other side of the board. So I can resurface this 4 or 5 times and still go on happily cutting stuff out. I typically don't go, when I have to go through a workpiece, I typically try to go less than 40 thou, maybe 40 thou through the workpiece to get the cut that I needed, because the vagaries of wood, sometimes you tell it to go to 3/4 of an inch and a 3/4 inch piece of wood, and it doesn't, it goes through and then it comes up, whatever. You get the point. So basically I have the cutter go below the workpiece, but only to describe a little bit on the surface here. Like I said, I can resurface this thing a bunch of times. Close up. First, let's home the machine. So it's homed. Again, it's barely warm, so the cooling is working very well. Let's take a close look at this, and then we'll move on to the next video at some point. But let's take a close look. Yeah, gotta move the camera. Camera's on wheels. And tip the camera down. Zoom in. Okay, so 1/4-20 fastening point here, every single hole. The 1x1 grid. These clamps go down in here very nicely into the into the some threaded inserts, and they tighten up this way. But I use those. I use above clamps, fore clamps, side clamps, whatever, to put my workpiece down. But this is my new spoil board, and I think I'm going to be real happy with it. And like I said, I can resurface this thing like 3 or 4 times. So until next time, make great things out of wood.